Pocket fives on the bottom is a pretty easy fold, and pocket fives on the top is a pretty easy fold as well. It's a stack size where I would consider shoving certain like middle pairs, because raising them sucks when you get flatted. Raise calling them is not that great for, like, let's say 7s, 8s, and 9s, because it's hard to say how good you're going to be there versus, you know, these, you know, 3-bet shove ranges. I think 5s ended up being a pretty clear fold. Let's take a look at my amazing analyses. And I put the opponents on quite tight ranges because of the stack size being so deep, even though the big blind is a bit shorter, which made it seem a little bit more tempting. I think folding there is just extremely standard. So just fold 10-7 and Jack-10 in pretty standard spots. Nothing was missed there. Yeah, and I think they were suggesting 8s plus. So, and I think that's fine. You could even raise your minimum edge here to like 0.15, 0.2. Considering our stack size, there's no reason to be taking thin shoves. So, I'm not saying that I would then end up folding pocket 8s or anything, but you could probably find a fold with, or maybe not fold like ace-jack or ace-10 suited, but maybe you could min-raise those as well. The problem with min-raising those hands as well, though, is you need a clear plan for when you get 3-bet, and I think it works the best. I prefer min-raising the most against players who 3-bet really tight, and I know that really well about them, because then you can raise fold and actually save a lot of money. You avoid getting in versus their monsters completely, and you pretty much don't ever get exploited by getting 3-bet too light, because, like I said, we've figured out that those players are very tight 3-betters. Which many people are anyway, so it's not like very hard to find that kind of opponent, but I really don't know these players at all, and I know the guy to my left is already kind of laggy on that table on the top left, and so I saw him 3-bet a couple times already, but I guess the filtered stats, he hasn't 3-bet at this handedness level yet, but because he's a general 3-better, I think, or general lag, I should say. You don't want to get into those tough spots as much. Here I was kind of just looking at what happened with King 5. It looks like he raised and c-bet, which is kind of standard. Definitely a super light raise with King 5 off on the button now. And ends up bluffing the river when his opponent checks through, trying to rep a straight or whatever, but too bad the other guy had it. Folded ace-queen on the top right table because there was an under-the-gun raiser who has been pretty tight. This guy, well, which HUD stats are his? I'm not even sure at the moment. I think it's the 2013, yeah. The 2013, but a minute ago it was actually tighter than that. I think it said 14 something, so it looked kind of tight, raising under the gun, getting flatted by a fish. I'm not really worried about the flat too much, but shoving over an under-the-gun raiser with almost no fold equity is pretty thin with ace-queen. I think ace-king I probably would have to shove, but even that I'm not like thrilled about, so I think ace-queen becomes kind of a standard fold, unless you're playing like, you know, again, another loose player. I don't know the guy that much, so there's not much I could say about that, but I think folding is fine. And for jacks, raising small is fine. I think also the thing about raising small, though, is it looks like big pairs only. So I think like at a table with what I perceive are a few regs, maybe that the guy on the button's a fish. Hard to tell. Well, not that hard to tell. He looks kind of fishy. Yeah, so I think shoving looks a little bit weaker, is what I was interrupted myself, what I was trying to say. And therefore, I kind of like shoving there with even jacks plus sometimes. Although I think it's extremely close in EV to raising small. I think you'll get called more by regs, a little bit more by regs when you do that, and I think you'll get a little less action from fish. So it's kind of like depends on who you're playing and depends on the game flow and stuff.